Welcome back, everyone. What do you do with a group of people who demonstrate repeatedly over a number of centuries that their ideology makes them unable or unwilling to learn stuff? I don't know about you, but my response is to make echo chamber videos. In a recent video, I said that Muhammad was like a clueless actor who jumped onto the stage 600 years after the curtains closed and foolishly said the play was all about him. This prompted some truly excellent dawah. I will use your silly logic and words against you. Imagine an actor who came 1200 years later, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. The actor doesn't know the original script, and so forth. So where's all of this going? The name of this new actor is Jesus, and the name of the new director is Trinity. And another one, so Islam is out of line with the previous revealed systems, but there it is again, the Trinity, and other Christian inventions are in continuity. Now, I said that was excellent dawah because that precise methodology that you just saw at work in those comments was endorsed strongly, ironically perhaps, on this channel by an imam recently who is growing in his authority and influence. These next comments illustrate the excellence of dawah strategy number 2. Never defend, only distract. So this comment, as well as the next ones you'll see, are posted on a video questioning the soundness of the Quran's transmission. But here's the trick. You would never know it by reading the comments. They have nothing to do with the video. And notice these 3 comments from the same video illustrate the don't defend, distract strategy even better. These venerable comments are posted in rapid succession and also have absolutely nothing to do with addressing the video itself. Never defend, only distract. You can feel your dawah game getting stronger. I can tell it. Now that doesn't seem particularly excellent to me, but neither does idolizing a man who slept with a 9-year-old, recited satanic verses, was bewitched by a Jewish hairbrush, endorsed wife beating, and commanded the murder of people who spoke against him and his religion. But hey, that's where we are currently. Anyway, you heard the claim in those comments. The Trinity has no theological continuity with what came before it. Therefore, as a Christian, my analogy about Muhammad jumping onto the stage 600 years too late is inconsistent. As I have previously discussed on this channel, there is stuff that allows people who can read to inform themselves. And so here are some relevant examples from 3 well-known scholars of Judaism. Peter Schaeffer begins with what sounds strangely like an argument Muslims have used approximately 15,892,270,916.3 times. But who's counting? Schaeffer refers to Deuteronomy 6:4 and then describes this narrative. Christianity adopted Jewish monotheism, but quickly expanded it with the idea of the incarnation of God's Son, the Logos, and finally watered it down entirely with the doctrine of 3 divine persons, the Trinity. That's right out of the Muslim playbook, isn't it? Christians started with the monotheism of Deuteronomy and then lost their theological marbles. That's the narrative. Now, let's look at the full quote from Schaeffer to see how he characterizes this narrative. He begins by calling it a popular cliché. Then he says, we know today that pretty much none of this ideal picture stands up to historical review. Why is it that so many narratives in the Muslim world keep crumbling? Oh yes, because they don't stand up to historical review. Next, Daniel Boyarin comments, the ideas of Trinity and incarnation, or certainly the germs of those ideas, were already present among Jewish believers well before Jesus came on the scene to incarnate in himself, as it were, those theological notions and take up his messianic calling. And the foreword to this book contains a very interesting comment as well. But if you happen to be a Jewish, and I'm adding, or Muslim, reader of this foreword, please double back now and reread the quoted first paragraph of Boyarin's chapter 3, especially its ending. And that's the quote we just read previously. He continues, the Trinity, a Jewish idea? The Incarnation, a Jewish idea? Yes, indeed. And if such thoughts as these seem unthinkable, I can only urge, read on. There you go, Dawagandist. Do you want to get that book and read on? No, I didn't think so. And finally, Benjamin Sommer. It is immediately evident that the fluidity traditions from the Hebrew Bible and the ancient Near East found expression in Christianity. The most obvious example of fluidity in Christian thought is the notion of the Trinity. Again, this is a Jewish scholar. For all the trouble that Jewish and Muslim philosophers have had, Let's read that again. For all the trouble that Jewish and Muslim philosophers have had with this notion, the Trinity emerges as a fairly typical example of the fragmentation of a single deity into seemingly distinct manifestations that do not quite undermine the deity's coherence. And then he goes on to cite approvingly Christian biblical commentators who connect the Trinity with Genesis 18. These books and many others are available for people who can read stuff, and the texts that these authors cite have been around for thousands of years. So this leaves, one would think, adequate opportunity for Muslims to learn this stuff. But Dawah is like drugs or something. Maybe someone should come up with a 12-step program for Muslims struggling with the Dawah addiction. We could call it Dawagandists Anonymous. But this sort of purposeful ignorance is similar to crucifixion denial and a host of other things in Islam. Muslims choose to remain ignorant, so consequently, they don't deserve to be part of the dialogue on these issues because they've demonstrated for centuries that they can't be taken seriously. Yes, Muhammad foolishly jumped onto the stage 600 years too late and claimed it was all about him. Ever since then, Muslims have been ignoring and distorting reality to fit the claims of their religion. Christian theology, especially the Trinity, are constant objects of these attacks, and they no doubt will continue to be, since ignoring and distorting facts are two pillars of the religion of Islam. Combine that with the endless repetition of debunked narratives, and you end up with the Islamic echo chamber. It's all very repulsive, disgusting, and embarrassing to the notion of human intellect, and at the same time, it's a bit sad. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.